There we go. Picks from Joe's. Oops, you know what? Let's get this tweeted out. Picks from Joe's. Oh, the drama, the backup QB. Let's do a little hashtag in there. Okay, do that. All right, barking dogs. There we go. Everybody, are we ready? Are we ready? This is going to be absolutely fascinating. It's like, I can't, okay, then what the heck is this? Who's barking at what? Hang on. I'm not even going to mute. Here we go. That's enough. You stupid animal. Dogs. Sorry for that, folks. Dogs, you gotta love them. The puppy was in our bedroom, up on our bed. And I guess when the wife walked out this morning, the bedroom door kind of like half closed. Well, there's a mirror on the back of it. And she's on the bed and could see herself in the mirror. So she's barking and jumping at the mirror. Now we got downstairs. I love this crap. Dogs. I love them to death. So anyway, how I'm telling you right now, how in the world are we going to live through this today? And here we go again. What the heck is this? There. Took care of that. Took care of that. So, can we get to this now? You talk about drama. So OSU, obviously, I'll mention some of these other games, and obviously there's games that matter today. I know the scenarios are unlikely. You saw that in the post I put up about all the scenarios going into this weekend with 2 weeks left in Big 12 play. But honestly, you're an OSU person. This is way more important. It's what happens today in Morgantown. Now that Sanders injured out for at least the regular season, obviously some possibility he might come back for a bowl game. Honestly, if Drew Brown performs, I wouldn't even think about it, right? Why take the chance? He's played the whole season, so getting all the extra snaps, whoop-de-doo, okay? I don't care about that. Drew Brown has been a trooper. If he plays out, doesn't get hurt, then friggin' play him in the bowl game. That'll be his reward for being the good soldier, right? Because, that guy transferred. He came here to play. And he just hasn't played a lick, But man, oh man, the potential storylines we got with this. All right, this is just set up for all kinds of Twitter explosions, implosions, Gundy press conference, post game presser. Who knows? So anyway, let's just touch on the schedule this week first. So clearly, there are some meaningful games. Depending on if you're Oklahoma State or Texas. Iowa State, they're at 4-3 in the conference. But even if they went out, there is literally not a single scenario that could see them make the Big 12 championship game. Okay. There are some scenarios that could see Texas or Oklahoma State get there, but there's not a single scenario that doesn't involve at least one of either OU or Baylor. So let's just let's start from there. either OU or Baylor, at least one of them is playing in the Big 12 title game. The question then becomes, who's playing them in the title game? For Oklahoma State, it really involves Texas losing one of their last two games. Because if Texas wins out, there are just so many scenarios where Texas has the advantage over Oklahoma State because of the head-to-head. So if Texas loses today or next weekend and Oklahoma State wins out, all right, then Oklahoma State needs OU to lose today. Okay? If Baylor wins out, if Baylor loses both games, that's really kind of another non-starter for Oklahoma State because Baylor wins the head-to-head. And you keep in mind with the Big 12 tiebreakers, as I mentioned in the article. You can, if you've got more than two teams tied, that gets you past your head-to-head, right? So if Oklahoma State, let's say both OU and Baylor lose out, Oklahoma State wins out, those three teams are tied, okay? If you do the round robin between those three teams, then one beat one, which beat the other, right? So you go past that. Now you start looking at who, because then at that point what you do is they start with the highest ranked team not in the tiebreaker, and how did you all do against that team, right? So that's a big crapshoot. You don't know who that would be. But that could potentially be the only chance Oklahoma State has of getting past Baylor if Baylor is part of the mix. Obviously, if Oklahoma State's in the mix with OU, then it becomes a better scenario. But listen, if OU beats TCU this weekend, you could pretty much forget about it if you're an Oklahoma State fan. They're not going to the title game. And frankly, at this point, whatever. Whatever. It'd be great. It'd be fantastic if it all happened, but not counting on it. So let's just talk about the games. You've got two 12 o'clock games. So the other 12 o'clock game, you've got Kansas at Iowa State. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. Iowa State's favored by 24.5. Over-under's 58. It's going to be crisp. Should be a dice football day, right? Crisp, sunny. I don't see a wind forecast, but whatever. Iowa State should roll. That shouldn't be an issue. You've got one mid-afternoon game, which is a very intriguing game. Texas at Baylor. If Baylor beats Texas, that locks Baylor into the Big 12 title game. Okay? If Baylor loses to Texas, then all they have to do is beat Kansas next weekend. So Baylor's not losing out, homies. That's not happening. Baylor's favored by 5. Over-under's 57. I think that over-under is low. And I think Texas gives them a game. Texas offense is good enough. The Texas defense is just not good. But Baylor doesn't strike me as they're going to pitch it all around the field. I mean, they'll run the ball. They'll try to run the ball. So I don't know. I think Baylor can win. They're at home. The game means something. You win it, you're in. And beating Texas would be up to decide. I think Baylor gets away with that one. And that locks them into the Big 12 title game. Then you've got two evening games. One is a nothing game. You got Kansas State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's favored by 2.5. Over-under's 56. I'm taking K-State all day to win that game, coming off a poor performance against West Virginia in that loss last week. So I take K-State. I think the over-under 56 is low. I'd take an over. I would take an over on that. But that game's useless. That's going to be on FX. By the way, the Kansas-Iowa State game probably going to be on one of those oddball Fox Sports channels because I'm not even seeing like ESPN Plus listed. and the afternoon game is Fox Sports 1. The 7 o'clock game, K-State, Texas Tech, Fox Sports 1. And then the prime game, 8 o'clock tonight on Fox, TCU at Oklahoma. Quite literally, the Big 12 title game is going to get settled today. At least half of it's getting settled today, and probably the whole game. So OU beats TCU. They're a lock. They're in the title game. TCU pulls the upset. Bedlam, depending on what else happens, Bedlam could be for a shot in the title game. Okay, so that to me is the game for OSU fans. And honestly, OU's favored by 18, over under 64. I think TCU hangs for a bit, but I think OU gets after them eventually. This is an important game. They had poor performance. Well, not a great performance last week. I thought that was really kind of a poor performance, especially offensively. They just didn't look that potent offensively, and then they just got rolling in the second half, and Baylor kind of went to sleep. But I think the Big 12 title game gets settled today, and then Bedlam really is like the old days, right? Oklahoma State ruined OU's chances for a title game. But then the intriguing game, man. ESPN2, Oklahoma State at West Virginia, and all of the quarterback drama. Now, how many at West Virginia? Look, that West Virginia has played well their last two games. Had a chance for the upset at Baylor. At Baylor, or was it in Morgantown? I don't remember. Let's see. It was at Baylor. So they were at Baylor a couple weeks back. Played well, had a chance for the upset, couldn't pull it off. And then at K-State, pulled off the upset, and K-State's not lousy. So Oklahoma State's got to be awake. They need to come in and play well, and I think there's nothing that's better to have them fully, have their full attention than Spencer Sanders is out, and you've got a new QB coming in, and he's going to be looking to play well. He's going to be psyched for this. This is his chance. And, I mean, how about the drama this week with, number one, Sanders being hurt, and he had surgery, and then number two, the rumors floating around about Brown getting dinged in practice. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? But then it all came out that he was okay, and he would play. I mean, holy crap! What a change in storyline if you go from Spencer all the way to a redshirt Sean Taylor, because nobody even talked about Brendan Costello. That was kind of the assumption a lot of people had, and they didn't know it'd probably be Sean Taylor, redshirt freshman. So I mean, this is just all the intrigue, man. All of the intrigue. You've got certain scenarios, right? So offense comes out, heavy run, not a lot of pass, and they just slog it out and depend on the defense, and they win a low-scoring game, and you don't really see anything that shows anything, right? Okay, so what? Didn't look any better. Maybe it looked a little worse. Then you've got the scenario of they come out and Drew Brown just looks different, right? So you don't have as much of the QB run game. You have more passing game, so he brings a different set of skills to the table, but then he has his own problems, right? So at the end of the day, the offense is kind of same. All right, so okay, fine. Would you rather see a little more passing, or you want to see the dynamic QB run deal? You could then just argue back and forth, right? But it's at the end of the day kind of same from a result perspective. But then let's say Drew Brown comes out and the passing game looks way more dynamic, and Oklahoma State's offense is humming, like flying all over the field, and we absolutely eviscerate West Virginia. I'm sorry, but the Twitter mob is going to lose their mind. And there's no way you can avoid the conversation again, right? You're going to have people hate it. But again, you end up in that conversation of Gundy sacrificing a season because he wants to get the QB of the future valuable snaps. I'm not going to say that the snaps aren't valuable, right? That's having the games. I mean, Gundy talks about it all the time. He needs the experience, man. If he's going to be your guy, he needs the game experience. And he is a dynamic athlete. But he's clearly had his struggles, which are expected, okay? But if Drew Brown comes out and you see a performance, and especially what about next week? Right? Yes, I'm projecting, but let's say he comes out and looks fantastic next week, and then he goes out next week and runs OU all over the field. Maybe you lose, but maybe it's all of a sudden, holy crap. Where has this been all year? And you are going to start with the whole thing with Gundy's evaluating the QBs. And not just evaluating the QBs, let's say, but his decisions on why he's going to play a particular QB. So, look, I'll save all that for later, but this is like storyline 101, man. And Oklahoma State, I would expect Oklahoma State to come out and be fully engaged here. With the backup QB now, I expect them to be fully engaged in this game. And if you look back to the fall and you look at how people were evaluating the two QBs, Drew Brown's much more the guy who's going to spread the ball around in the passing game. So, is he gonna create a dynamic run game? No. Is he a threat to run the ball? Yeah, he should be able to keep a defense honest. But his thing is pitching the ball around the field. And the guy started 2 years at the Power 5 level. I know it was Hawaii, but he's starting at a Power 5 level and threw for a lot of yards. So it's going to be fascinating to me to see what happens with that. And if he goes out and looks like a game buster, OSU Twitter is going to be quite the show. And you're going to have the conversations. And I'm telling you, that post-game presser, somebody's asking the question. You're going to invite Gundy's wrath because somebody is asking the question. If they don't, they're all just afraid of Gundy, right? They're afraid of the response they're going to get, right? So this has just got so many potential storylines to it. Maybe Drew, like I said, maybe Drew Brown comes out, he looks different, but the offense isn't any more successful, okay? I guarantee if I'm West Virginia, I mean, this is how people have played us, man. They're going to roll up guys in the box. They're going to roll up. If they don't roll up guys in the box, Chuba Hubbard will run for over two. He'll run for 2 bills at least. Okay? So they're going to roll up guys in the box and say, fine, you want to beat us in the passing game. And I just feel like Drew Brown is going to hit seam routes. Drew Brown is going to hit slants and crosses. That's if you think back, too, about Brandon Weeden. Brandon Weeden was not the greatest of deep ball passers. Okay, although he had the strong arm. He wasn't the greatest of deep ball passers, but his accuracy on the short intermediate stuff was incredible. Right? Well, if you have that accuracy on short and intermediate, and West Virginia says, I'm going to roll up into the box so Chuba doesn't beat us, come on. And maybe you see a slow first quarter or first half, right? He's got he's been in a couple games, but now he's adjusting to first team snaps, speed of the game. He's just, there'll be a little bit of I remember what this feels like, but he'll remember what this feels like. So it's just going to be, I just think it's going to be real fascinating. Fascinating. And you're going to have folks on Twitter that'll be, all pissed off because people bring it up. But I'm telling you right now, you're not going to avoid it. You cannot avoid the conversation if Drew Brown comes out and all of a sudden Oklahoma State's passing game we've breathed life into it. And you're not just pounding the ball and throwing deep. right? To the hot receiver. I mean, to your first read all day. So this has just got fun written all over it. The road unis, I love those road unis. I'm a big fan of the badge, by the way. Love the badge. I think the badge is great. It really, I'm glad they didn't do the barbed wire helmet with the badge. But it really, I love that black, white, black with all the orange accent stuff. Love it. I think those are sharp, good look. So anyway, we're gonna let it go there because we're gonna have plenty to do and talk about on Twitter. Got the phones fully charged now again, so I'll probably wear that out. We'll see everybody online. And oh, by the way, if anybody hears this, if you're going to be in Brooklyn, here in the New York City area at the Barclays Center Wednesday for the basketball game, I'm going to be there. Again, love meeting up with people, OSU people on the road. It's an hour ride for me, unless there's obviously traffic going into that area of the city on Wednesday afternoon. But I'll be riding in, and we can meet up and have a drink and enjoy some basketball. And there we go. The dogs are signing off too. So everybody be safe. We'll see you on Twitter. Go Pokes.